draw your attention to the fact that in this bill there are important amendments to the Security of Information Act. In this bill, there are going to be new clauses that are going to go after intimidation, threats, or violence that are committed on behalf of a foreign entity. There are going to be amendments that are offenses that if you commit an indictable offense on behalf of a foreign entity, if your conduct omits the fact that you are working for a foreign entity, but also if you commit interfere in the political process on behalf of a foreign entity. And a lot of these, in fact, all of them, have quite serious punishments associated with them. So I'm just wondering, and I invite you, if you want to submit a brief to this committee, that's great, that we can get later on. But is there anything missing in those that is not covered by what you want? Like what are we missing? Because that seemed to cover a lot of what you had said in your opening statement. I just want to make sure we're getting all our bases covered. So I'll start with you, sir.
I think the bill covers a lot of things. You know, it is as an activist, as a human rights activist, I find it quite encouraging, and I mentioned it in my opening remark. And also, the analytical reports that is submitted, I think, just yesterday by Sarah Tick and Hannah Taylor does mention that many of the amendments in the legislation is quite encouraging. Having said that, their analysis of the report points out, as I mentioned in my opening remark, about the lack of a definition of transnational repression. I think the common aspect here is, as you mentioned, the foreign entities is common in the transnational repression as well as in the foreign interferences. However, the differences, at least based on some of the available literature, seems to suggest that the target group is different for foreign interferences and transnational repression. In case of foreign interferences, the target group seems to be more of a state structure, whereas in case of a transnational repression, it is really the diaspora communities, such as Uyghurs and Tibetans. So that was the reason. But otherwise, we actually find it very encouraging.
And Mr. do you want to have a chance to?
Yeah. It is really important to have a clear definition because U.S. Senate has introduced one bill, which is S-831. It is called Transnational Repression Policy Act. That Transnational Repression Policy Act clearly defined what is transnational repression. And for that reason, the name and number of the definition of the offenses, but most of those definitions or amendments as a result of the consequential amendment, because when you add one thing and the related bills need to be updated consequently. So for that reason, we need, as part of this the important bill C-71, we have to clearly define what is transnational repression.
Thank you. And I did take note of your, you had a slight bit of disappointment that we weren't using that term in the criminal code, but I think given that the Security of Information Act is being amended in these ways, and there's some significant punishments, some of the punishments are up to life imprisonment, perhaps that's an area in this bill where the committee can look at inserting that definition. So we've noted that, so I appreciate your testimony. I want to